My name is Meraiah Foley, and I'm a lecturer in Work and Organizational Studies and Work Integrated Learning. This semester, I'm teaching Work 2205, HR Strategies and Processes. That's a core unit with 142 students. In addition to the usual emails and Canvas announcements, I also occasionally take short video grabs like this one, in which I walk my students through key points. For example, I just made a short video, which I released this week, walking my students through the results of their mid-semester quiz. And early on, when I was setting up my online course, I sent out a simple survey monkeys to my students to gauge their satisfaction with the format that I had chosen. The results of that survey were overwhelmingly positive, letting me know that I was on the right track in terms of the way that I had structured the course, and also letting the students know that they have voice in their own learning experience, which I think is really important at any time, but especially in this time of quick transition. One of the biggest changes I have made to my unit is to break my normal 2-hour lecture into a series of short 10-minute videos, usually no more than 4 or 5 videos a week. I produce these and I post them to Canvas well ahead of our normal lecture time. And then in lieu of a lecture, I hold an interactive workshop via Zoom in which the students and I work through a series of case studies related to the lecture material. And we also do online interactive quizzes. I use Socrative a lot, for example, to work through material that relates to the lectures in a more interactive way. So we're really trying to use Zoom to be as interactive as possible, rather than me simply delivering content to the students in a more static way. To pre-record my lectures, I keep it super simple, and I use a simple voice over PowerPoint because it's what I know, it's what I'm familiar with. It allows me to record my lectures slide by slide. Sometimes I use video capture so that students can see my face as well as listening to my voice. But I do try to use simple animations and introduce text as I'm speaking, so it gives my videos a sense of flow and it doesn't overwhelm my students with very text-heavy slides. I think students really appreciate a more interactive learning experience, whether that's happening live or wholly online. The challenge for me has been to see how interactive I can try to make my classes. At present, I'm trying to pre-record as many of my lecture videos as possible in case I or someone in my family gets sick, and also so that students have access to this material well ahead of our Zoom sessions and can move through the content of my course at their own pace. I'm also trying to draw as many case studies as possible from our current experience with coronavirus, COVID-19, working from home. This has been pretty easy for me as I teach human resource management, and workforce issues and labor issues are pretty much front and center in the news every day. But I find that this makes the content more relevant to the students. It brings the subject material to life. But also importantly, it gives me an opportunity to try to connect with the students on an emotional level to find out how our current experience might be affecting them, and to create a connection that may feel difficult to get in an online format. Sometimes it can be very demoralizing to talk to yourself in an empty room or to a bunch of black Zoom boxes for an hour or more. Early on, my tutors and I decided to keep the participation mark in our tutorials and to require students to turn their video on in order to have their attendance registered for participation. We do recognize this isn't always possible for everyone because of bandwidth limitations and technology. So when students can't participate via video, we ask them at least to submit comments via the chat function. However, by doing this, we find that most students, in fact, do turn their video on and participate in these Zoom tutorials. And by asking questions and dividing students into breakout rooms and groups, we're really able to replicate the classroom experience online. So overall, I found the transition to online to be not as scary and not as challenging as I might have thought. But the real key, I think, to getting students on board with online learning is to try to make every interaction as interactive as possible, to try to avoid static one-way delivery of content, and to use whatever technological solutions you can to make the learning as interactive as possible. Thanks for the opportunity to share my experience.